Hey, it's Thursday. We are going live today. Good evening, good evening. It's Thursday. All is well. And I've been having a good time pressure washing and working. And last week, so sorry to miss last week. It was the chili cook-off and a busy time. And but I'm doing the notes and everything that I had for last week this week, and of course the notes for this week I'll do for next week, and I'll take care of that. And right now I'm just going to check my phone to really make sure that we are connected and that all is well. And nature team, and yep, there I am. Okay, so all is well. All right, let me get to my notes, because I have my notes on the same phone. Boy, that was really lucky, because my notes are on the phone I'm filming with. And so when you have your notes on the same phone that your camera's on, you're in big trouble. You need to transfer it to your other phone really quick. So that's why I was a little antsy here, getting things taken care of. But I'm so glad you're here. Hey, Cher. And I'm just going to put a hi y'all in there and put this out of the way and go to my notes. All right. So this today is the 14th, so we might get to Proverbs 14. But the first thing we're going to do is my notes and what's going on. All right. So what was God dealing with me? What was happening where something like this would come up? So here is my title. The title is Useless, Damaged, Helpless, Odd, Misshapen is Exactly What You Need. That's right. It's exactly and you must understand, God did this on purpose. What does a perfect circle need to make it more perfect? Nothing. A perfect circle that you make with a compass, the perfect circle of the moon, whatever, perfect circle, you cannot add to it. And if you take anything away from it, it's no longer a circle. You can't do anything. So God is allowing things to be misshapen so that we have to have someone's help making that perfect circle. God allows things to be odd, to not fit, which is one of my favorite things to talk about, because that way we need Him. That way we need other people. So another thing, if you're writing it down or taking notes for a title, was vulnerability is availability. That might be a better title even. That's what I have written down here. Vulnerability is availability. Although we like to show the world just how perfect we are, and how strong we are, and how complete we are, and how perfect we want to look to our own family, we can't achieve that. And the more we try to achieve it, the more we want to achieve it, the more we push to achieve it, we actually push others away. It's important, dads and moms, and mostly dads, that you are vulnerable to your family, that you can go to your child and say, I need you, I can't do this. That means so much. My parents didn't need me at all. My parents had no use for me. They had no place for me. They were complete in themselves. The only thing they had for me to do was chores around the home so I could feel like I was doing something or a part of something, and a work ethic, which was good. And they were strict about, and you couldn't go out and play until you got your chores done, and that was very good when I'm being raised. And it didn't matter what you say or how much I don't remember whether I argued about it or whether I whined and cried about it. I just remember that that's the way it was. And if I went outside anyway, I got brought back inside, spanked, and then still had to do the work. So it taught me a good work ethic. But that did not help with what I needed. I'm going to have to put this on longer before it goes to sleep. So you have to show yourself vulnerable to your wife and children. You must share your vulnerability with your family, with your spouse. And you have to allow your vulnerability to show your availability. I am making myself, I'm allowing myself, for guys, you could just say, listen, I'm allowing myself to be weak in this area so that my son, daughter, or wife will fill that space. And, and for some men, they want to be so perfect. They want to get everything done. They strike the parking lot. They have all these things they would to get things just right. They label everything. They are constantly looking at everything every week, and to make everything strong and everything right and everything labeled and everything in its place and everything organized. But that leaves nothing for anyone else to do except lead their own separate life. And eventually, after years, that's what they'll end up going and doing because they have no value. And so your vulnerability allows for their availability, which gives them value. And it isn't just something that, I'm going to be weak in this area. I'm going to choose to be. No, you're not perfect. You need help. If you're not good with numbers and you're not good with finances, you let someone else do it. And why not involve your family in that? Why not be teaching your own children the numbers and the prices and the costs and saying and finding out how they can help? I mean, people want to help. Kids want to help their parents. If you don't give a place for your wife to fit into your life because you need her, then it won't last. You're not showing your wife how strong and how perfect you are, and she's just going to love you because you're just so strong and so perfect and so wonderful. No, she's going to love you even more when she sees your vulnerability. The private one you even keep in the family. When she sees that, that's what's going to cause her to be attached, to be a part. Same with wives. Letting your husband know that I need you to open the door. I need you to do this. My wife has more needs than some, but it gives me value to take care of her. And I needed that. I needed that more than most men to feel needed. And my need to be needed was much higher than most people. And because of that, God gave me the wife that I have, because it turned out I fit right into what she needed, and she fit right into what I needed, because I needed someone to keep me from, destroying myself in selfishness. And that's what she did. So just like a king, don't think of it like you're something special, because a king needs his queen. A king needs the dukes and the earls. A king needs, the jack. And because these are part of how a kingdom works. A king is not meant to do everything. One of the reasons that the captain would go down with the ship is because ultimately the captain is responsible. So everything that the crew and everyone does is made known to the captain, because he's ultimately responsible. And if the ship makes a mistake, the crew goes on, but the captain pays for the mistake, especially in a court-martial or something like that. So you have to work together, and you have to, it isn't so much, admitting how weak I am in this area and I need you. No, that's not what I mean. It means that you function the best you can And where the best you can, where you can't do well, you let someone come in and help you. Because the thing is that if you're in charge and you're running everything, like the old saying, if it's all up to you, it's all about you. And so if you don't make it all up to you, you share that burden of getting the family running, the house running, the bills paid. You share getting the property taken care of and the grass mowed, because you'll find that someone that does everything, that does it all, is still not happy. Even if they get it all done and everything's perfect, they're still not happy because they've lost their family being so busy getting everything done. We even do and me, meaning we, I'll even do the work of someone else. That's not living up to what they need to be doing, because I'm afraid. It's like, if I don't do this and I look for someone else to do this and they don't do it, I would rather not even ask them. I would rather even ask family to help if they're just gonna let me down. I'm not gonna ask my family to come over and help me decorate a tree. You don't even want, if you don't even want to call your family to help you come over and decorate the Christmas tree because you're afraid they might say no. Or if you say, I need help decorating for Christmas. I need help decorating for Christmas. You are making yourself available for rejection, but you're also making yourself vulnerable and available so that, hey, someone want to help me? Maybe they won't, but you've made yourself available to receive help, and that takes humility. And if you're afraid that no one else will step up and want to help you, then you're going to more likely take control and just not even give anybody, a chance to help you because you don't want to feel rejected if they don't. And if someone, there's a privilege. There's a privilege of saying, I did this. It's a privilege to say that. Oh, I did this. But that privilege should be shared. We did this, not I did this. Because if it's all about you, it's all up to you. So you make it about everybody. Make it about everybody. See, I could tell. So here I have a personal note here. Whether it's your family or friends, I can tell you my dad was never my friend. He couldn't be anything but a controlling parent. And I don't even want to, not really highly controlling, but just a control. He just couldn't help but be a parent. He did not know how to be a friend. He did not know how to let someone in the family be themselves. They could only be what he wanted them to be. And he did not know how to be that friend until he was about to die. If you keep controlling everything, some circumstances will come up that will take it out of that control and that will make you need others. And that is one thing that I noticed in my career as a painter, is there was 3 families. The third one, I don't know what happened, but the first 2 families that I worked with, they were trying to stay busy. They were trying to stay focused. They were doing these projects because they knew that it was holding them all together. And so, but they were getting close to, this is it, we're done. We can't go on in this situation, when one of the parents got injured. Now, this parent was very gun-ho, do everything, motivated, millionaire kind of guy. And, but he got injured, and suddenly he needed his family. He needed everyone in the family. And for a while there, the whole family was getting along. because he needed them. There was just nothing he could do. And everyone was getting along. Everyone was doing great. Things were picking up. They even were looking at changing homes and all kinds of things. And but as soon as he recovered, then the projects had to come back, and the work had to come back, and the details had to come back, and everybody had to be, because it was like, no, it didn't really change him and have him know and understand that it's not him and the family, but it's a family. So make sure you have projects that are, everyone in the family is highly needed. I know as a parent, it's like, oh, I want to help. What can I do? You see, to a child, not being able to help decorate the Christmas tree, but yet being held up to put the star on the top was all they needed to feel part of the whole thing. They don't have to do everything. They just have to do a small part in order to feel available. And the wife needs to be needed to show, so that she can show her worth. Being vulnerable to the family makes a solid family, and being available, making it available for a child to be an important part, because they need to have that part in order to feel like they fit in, they're a part of it. And like the way the king, a king's got to have his subjects. He can't leave the throne and go farm the land, so he has to stay in charge, but he also has to acknowledge the farmer. I think that was one of the problems with the kings of old. They got so caught up in themselves, they stopped acknowledging the people that produced the food and took care of the land and all of that. All right, so let me get to the end of, I finished the OneNotes. Let me see here. Oh, don't go that fast. All right, so here's the other part. Now here's the part. Yeah, the circumstance that will come up. Opportunity to be rescued. Men, especially women too, there are opportunities to come to you to relinquish control, to give control to someone else in a certain area, and even if it's just, we don't eat until one of the kids puts out the plates and the silverware, and you give them control. Nobody's sitting down to eat until you put out the plates and the silverware. And you don't want to do that in the natural. Listen, we'll get these plates and silverware out. We're going to sit down and eat. But if you do that, you give them a sense of responsibility and a place. Also, if you do that, it's an opportunity for them to be in demand. We need you. You're in demand. We need you. And we need you to take care of this, and you're important. I think a lot of us are still one little note that I wrote in here in the middle of all of this is some of us are performing for a dead person. Your parent, your teacher, your grandfather, somebody that has passed away, put something on you, and you're still trying to perform for them. You're still trying to live up to their expectation of what it was that they were supposed to do. and you were supposed to do. And you're, it's like you cannot make the dead parents, the dead people happy, but yet that's what we want to do. We want to do that. We want to somehow meet the expectation of a parent or a spouse that has passed away so that they'll be happy with us, so that we'll measure up to what they were expecting us to do. And we never will. We never will. We try so hard, we never will. And now we can't satisfy them. And it's like, are we trying to measure up to a dead person? Are we trying to fulfill the expectations of a dead person? And we cannot measure up to a dead person. We don't realize we have put the same thing on our own family that we're living with that was put on us. And I'm very guilty of that. Very guilty of the performance mentality. I'm very high on performance mentality. I'll never quit. You have to fire me. I'll never stop. You've got to make it. It's got to run out. The sun's got to go down. Something's got to happen, or I'm not stopping. I've worked many, many nights and didn't even feel the need for sleep because I'm getting this done. I'm getting this through. And boy, I tell you, there's just, a lot of people that have said they were my friend and said that they were, thing like that would as soon as they had a chance would disappear. If there was a move or a phone number changed or something like that, there was no attempt at reestablishing contact. And that's my fault because I was just too strong. I was just, I'm working on it even today, And I said something today and I thought I had done the wrong thing. I thought I, irritated somebody. And I had to make it, known that, no, I wasn't mad at all. I thought I had made a mistake. I thought it was wrong. I thought I irritated you, I was like, no, everything's fine. You didn't bother me at all. And, but it was my performance thing. Like, what have I done to make this person upset? Is this person upset with me? What did I do? And, they just walked away. And, I just thought, oh my goodness, I shouldn't answer the phone. Oh my goodness, what did I do? But no, it wasn't that at all. But yet, see, I was in this performance mode, like, oh my goodness, what have I done? What have I done? And I really hadn't done anything. Yeah, okay, well, let's look at that. Jimmy. How many times have I said, don't prophesy what's going to happen? Never give the devil permission. Oh my goodness, did you really say that? I look for December to get a bad cold. See, what you just did, okay, so the devil goes to God right now and says, hey, look at that, God, I can give him a cold in December and you can't stop it because he just told me to do it. He just told me I can come. You just gave permission for a cold to come in December. So you need to say, Lord, I'm sorry. I repent for saying I'm going to catch a cold in December. I will not catch a cold in December. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to get through this winter without a single one in a situation. We've got enough troubles coming on their own. Let's not give one permission. All right. So where are we at? We're at 23. Let's go ahead and do Proverbs 14 and then we'll wrap it up. Proverbs 14. And did I get through with that? Does everybody have an understanding? To be vulnerable, to let your family, to be a part? Okay. So let's see what Proverbs 14 has to say about all of this, because we got ourselves a Proverbs 14. Yep. So, a wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one pulls it down with her hands. He who walks in uprightness fears the Lord. He who is perverse in his ways despises the Lord. In the mouth of the fool is the rod of pride, but the lips of the wise man will preserve them. Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase comes by the ox. I tell that one to my wife quite often when I make a mess. I don't want to do the dishes. Where there is no cook, the dish rack is clean, but much food comes from a cook. That's Proverbs, kitchen proverb number 5. Where there is no cook, the kitchen's clean, but much food is made by the cook. A faithful witness does not lie, but the false witness will utter them. A scoffer seeks wisdom, but does not find it. A knowledge is easy to him who understands. Go from the presence of a foolish man when you do not perceive in him the lips of knowledge. Wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools mock at sin, but among the upright there is favor. The heart knows its own bitterness, and a stranger does not share its joy. So be careful with that one, because that means it's very possible to hide bitterness, to hold it in your heart, not let anybody know you're being bitter against them or bitter against this person. And so you don't want to be bitter. You want to be better. And your own heart knows it. The house of the wicked will be overthrown. The tent of the upright will flourish. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Isn't that something on that previous verse? I just noticed it said, the house of the wicked, but the tent of the upright. Isn't that interesting that the wicked are interested in having the house and all of the big things and all the things, but it's just the tent of the upright. Well, a tent is temporary. It can move. It can grow. It can be bigger and smaller. It's more affected by the wind and waves, wind and weather. Didn't Abraham live in a tent because he was a sojourner on his way? There is a way that seems right, but its way is death. Even laughter in the heart may be sorrow, and the end of mirth may be grief. The backslider in heart will be filled with his own ways, but a good man will be satisfied from above. The simple believes every word, but the prudent considers well his steps. The wise man fears and departs from evil, but a fool rages and is self-confident. A quick-tempered man acts foolishly, and a man of wicked intentions is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Isn't that interesting right there? There's one of those double ones. So the first one says inherit. The second one says crowned. So you see, when you inherit something, it's because it's already in your family. It's already in your realm. It's already exists, and you are part of it. But when you are crowned, that is coming from somewhere else. That is coming from a power higher than you. So, like a royal family that has a physical defect among the family, but yet the crown is not affected by that. The crown comes from the power of the government. So that's very interesting to me, that the simple inherit folly. Inherit means it's already there. It's coming to you. As soon as someone else is done with it, you get it. Or it is part of a thing that you could even say is the courts of heaven. Because if you're going to inherit folly, that means it's already in your bloodline. It's already in your family. It's already around you. And you're going to inherit it. You're in line for it. And so you have to pray, Lord, I refuse to inherit folly. I refuse to inherit foolishness. I am of the bloodline of Christ, not the bloodline of anything else. 19. The evil will bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The evil will bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor man is hated even by his own neighbor, but the rich has many friends. He who despises his neighbor sins, but he who has mercy on the poor, happy is he. Do not go astray. Do not devise evil. Who does that? But mercy and truth belong to those who devise good. In all labor there is profit, but idle chatter leads only to poverty. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the foolishness of fools is folly. A true witness delivers souls, but the deceitful witness speaks lies. In the fear of the Lord there is strong confidence. In his children, and his children will have a place of refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to turn away from the snares of death. So that, I like that earlier part. We're claiming that, my wife and I. We have a home. God said he promised to provide a place for us. And right here, God, it says, Proverbs 26 says, your children have a place of refuge. So thank you. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to turn one away from the snares of death. In a multitude of people is a king's honor, but in the lack of people is the downfall of a prince. He who is slow to wrath has great understanding, but he who is impulsive exalts folly. The sound of the heart is life to the body, but envying is rottenness to the bones. Whew. Boy, the sound heart. Oh, I said sound of the heart. So it's actually a sound heart is life to the body, but envy is rottenness to the bones. I'll have to remember that. He who oppresses the poor reproaches his maker, but he who honors him has mercy on the needy. The wicked is banished in his wickedness, but the righteous has refuge in his death. Wisdom rests in the heart of him who has understanding. But what is it that the heart of fools is made of is unknown. But what the heart of fools is made of is unknown. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. The king's favor is toward the wise servant, but his wrath is against him who causes shame. Let's touch back real quick on 32. The wicked is banished in wickedness, but the righteous has a refuge in his death. I've never said, there's something good about death. Hey, you know what? There's something good about death. No, I've never said that. I've never once said there's something good about death. But yet, I'm seeing it here. It says that the righteous have refuge. Have refuge. Now, if you're dead, what good is a house? What good's your house after you die? It's not any good. What good is it when one of your family members dies and all you have is sorrow for their death? Just trying to get this part out of this Bible here. How do you get that? I find comfort in that. All of a sudden, the righteous have refuge in death. If you were actually dead, you wouldn't need refuge. Why is God saying the righteous have refuge in death? And for those of us who have lost people, and we're all sad because of the loss, and we share the loss of others, we can also share. They're in refuge. They're safe. They're covered. They're watched over. And we have comfort to know that at our passing, we are going to a place of refuge, of covering, of peace, of being taken care of like never before. Wow. I've never really thought a good thing like, oh boy, I can't wait to go to refuge. I've never said that before. But now I understand the righteous have refuge in death. And I'm rejoicing in that. I'm thinking that's awesome. I appreciate that. It gives me comfort to know that the ones that are passed on are in refuge. It gives me comfort to know God doesn't think I'm dead. I did a teaching, a year ago. Remember I did a teaching a year ago, and I was talking about, the title was Death is Not Dead, or You're Not Dead After Death, or something like that. Death is Not Dead, I believe is the title of it. You'd have to scroll way back. And it was very interesting. Oh, I'm over. All right, so anyway, because just to wind that up, very interesting that, you see, God does not consider a person dead when their body dies. You know, don't think God is cruel because he opened up the earth and swallowed 20,000 people in the Old Testament. Oh, how cruel, how awful, how cruel, how could he do that? It didn't bother him at all, because he was just switching them from earthly bodies to heavenly bodies so that he could deal with them directly. You know, I mean, if you were running a country, this may sound like familiar. If you had 1 million people, you were in charge of 1 million people, and all you had were tents. You had no buildings. You were all in a desert. You were traveling, and 30,000 of those 300,000 of those 1 million people in the desert with no infrastructure at all, just traveling through the desert, and 300,000 of them decide to be rebellious and say, you're wrong. You don't have prisons to put them in. You don't have judges to judge them. They're breaking the law, but you can't do anything about it. So when Israel was going through that problem, and they had 24,000 people that said, no, we're not going this way, then God swallowed them up and said, I got this. I got this. I got them. I'm going to take them over to my side, and I'll deal with them and judge them myself. Don't you worry about it. You guys move on to the promised land. So, he's got them. The people that have passed away, God's got them. And those who have passed away in the Lord, they're in the most wonderful place until the return of Christ and everything gets wrapped up. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. I'm at the LCL Lodge at our campground, and it's a wonderful place, and I'll make sure I try to get the fireplace going next time. That'll be wonderful. Well, I love you very much, and thank you for coming this week, and we'll see you next Thursday. Don't forget, we'll be doing some live streams on the Friday and Saturday on the weekend with the Smoky Mountain Blessed. And of course, I paint on Tuesdays. Oh, and this past Tuesday's painting is the painting of the month. It will be given away in 4 weeks, and everybody that chats in and or leaves a comment in one of my painting videos will be on the wheel to win that painting at the end of the night. So anything else my wife wants to say? Had surgery. Oh, recital. I almost said that out loud. Yes, recital. Boy, here comes the Christmas. Here comes the kids singing and all the things, and parents and plays and all that kind of stuff. So people are going to be busy, and I appreciate you being here, Adventure and Treasure and Jimmy, and love you very much. Good night, good night, good night. We love you, but Jesus loves you more. And we'll see you soon. Miss you till I see you again.